27 people, I think, Richard. 27 people. 24 said no, it will not succeed. 2 people plus Carol Guevara said yes. 2 people plus Carol Guevara. So that's 3 people said yes. I do Carol that for spite.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I got.
Yeah?
I see, yeah, that's pretty much what I got.
Yeah, nice. Well, I would hope so. You're a competent guy. I see AV had a Kamala Prasad says a moment in the news just now. Trying to say no confidence motion. I laugh. Every morning, darling. I laugh for so. No. I know Steve was laughing too, though, and he pretended he don't want to laugh on here.
No, I did chuckle. And then when I did chuckle, that threw off even more.
Yeah, a poor thing. Because you know if he just get flustered, eh?
Yeah, oh boy. The Renu Halasi says Tobago is 2 male rats at a fight. Yeah, I don't know. But what says you guys? What do you think?
It won't succeed. I don't think the Anagada party has already gotten assurances from a lot of the assemblymen that listen, we are not supportive of Watson Duke's action, and we are not going to side with him in this matter. I gather he has already done that based on his utterances, that he has spoken to them, and that's how they arrived. That I think they're having a meeting today, a virtual meeting that Watson Duke has been invited to, so he can respond to what is going on, and then they will take. That's when he said he will take the action that everybody's been calling on him to. Hey, you say you're going to take action? No, you ain't say nothing yet. So I think he said after that meeting is when he's going to take action, and I think he'll just remove the portfolio of head of diaspora, which is what Watson Duke was, why he traveling and traipsing all over the place and causing Vanilla Allen Toppin to jump out she whole self and ask for 700,000. These people mad, yes? These people don't understand state money, you know. They don't understand. There are a lot of people in public life going there thinking that they can really enrich themselves in a short time, you know, and a lot of people have done it, eh? But come on, somebody had to stand up against it. And if Farley may have made mistakes in the past, which I'm sure he made, I'm sure he gave his blessings to things in hindsight he probably shouldn't have. If he decide I ain't doing it anymore, so I will support that. I don't see why anybody will not support that. You know, politicians, yeah, we make mistakes. We've all made mistakes, but at the end of the day, we had to do what's right, man. You can't be using public funds just like that for people's enjoyment. Come on.
I think, in my opinion, Watson Duke chose a wrong fight. In that how he handled the issue by bringing it up and how he brought it up in such a public manner about 27 people and they're suffering, they have no food and blah, blah, blah. And it's the THA, and the THA promised this and the THA promised that. When you are the deputy chief secretary, it just came across opportunistic and strange.
Yeah.
It came across strange. So it seemed as if you picked a fight intentionally with the THA and the chief secretary of the THA when you are in fact a senior member of the THA itself. So it just came across not in a good manner in terms of Watson Duke. And then added on that is the PDP achieved something pretty historic in the sweep that they did for the Tobago elections.
Yeah.
That kind of sweep meant that Tobagonians had obviously a lot of confidence in the PDP in being at the helm of the THA. Watson Duke undermined that by his approach to dealing with an issue that you could have dealt with in another way that did not have to be so public and did not have to be so condemnatory of your fellow colleagues. In addition to which, ramping it up by removing them as deputy political leaders.
Yes. Yes.
So what you've done is damaged brand PDP in Tobagonians' minds. And not only that, you damaged PDP in terms of whatever brand you were trying to build in a Trinidad sense. Because one thing electorates don't like is disunity in the party that they have putting forward. And to the credit of the PNM has never suffered that to a large degree that was permanent. They've had episodes of it when Dr. Rowley and Mr. Manning had their issues, but you have no doubt that Mr. Manning was in control.
Yes.
At the time.
Yes.
And this is the difference. When it's a new party, process is not cemented yet. So people will start to feel, well, can this party last? Yeah. Can they be entrusted? And you have damaged that brand for purposes and conversations that you could have had behind the curtain, so to speak.
Yeah. And you make the fight over an issue of money. And clearly, Farley Augustine, due to the position he has taken, he is always going to come out smelling of roses with this fight. Because you choose to make the fight about people suffering on the streets of New York and so on, right? That's the first angle they went at, right? And they living in rat-infested places, right? They had to stay in some rat-infested place. Not knowing, you didn't think that the real story about how they got there and the issue of the money and so on would come out? You know what I mean? And when that came out and Farley gave his position, well, then he had no choice but to side with Farley's position. That you can't just give public funds for people to go on whatever jaunts they want and without accounting.
If your history may have not been one of the strongest levels of accountability, you may think that's an all right approach. Because remember, I said if someone's history is the one where they have not been known to have been the bastion of accountability in previous iterations, they may think that's the way to go.
But
because that's the way they are custom operating.
But he has been successful with that very same attitude, you know.
Well, successful is in parentheses. I don't know how successful, because there have been several questions raised about processes in the PSA over the years that Mr. Duke had been in charge of the PSA.
But Watson Duke somebody filmed him, or he filmed himself going in a bank and walking out with $400,000 already. And I don't know why the 400,000 figure is something about 400,000. He did have it, removing it from the bank, and they still re-elect him as.
Well, there had been serious questions asked about the finances of the PHA under his tenure, and accountability and transparency issues during that.
Yes.
So.
Yes, and they keep putting him back.
And the PSA was public servants' funds.
Watson, you got to resign from the PSA, you know. The PSA people didn't kick him out, you know.
Keep putting him back is also in parentheses, because there were questions about the elections that put him back also.
True.
Okay. So I know why accepting keep putting him back as if that was above board also.
Well, Oral Saunders tried. What's the other guy named? Nixon Calendar tried. And all of them end up what? Not rejoining him or some kind of thing after? After he treated them so bad?
Well, you think, let me see how to put this delicately. There's all kinds of strategy in all kinds of elections. If I want to win an election in an organization like that, one of the best strategies could be, let me decide who I want to put up to oppose me. When we come together and have an agreement, I want you all to break away now, and this is just my supposition, my creative mind thinking. So 3 of us are part of an organization, and an election is coming up. I want you all to break away and challenge me. And when I win, I'll put you all back in positions.
There was that school of thought.
One of the people told me that.
7 people.
One of the people told me that, Wendell.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it for one moment. That it was a strategy to keep him in office. You know? And, well, Look at what happened now. He is a good strategist in some instances, but I agree with Richard. I think he out-strategized himself with this one.
There has to be an end. There has to be an end game when you do things like this. And what's your end game? And end game and the optics matter. And while you may have thought that, and you're advocating for people who are in some sort of position in New York, and because he was very dramatic about it, they have no food, and he's seeing about their food, etc., etc. And you use that public forum because the social media you used, so it went all over the place. What's your end game? Especially when decisions coming from bodies, meaning like from a THA or from a ministry or something like that, things are documented.
Yeah.
In terms of, is there a request? Was it approved? Was it not approved? So for you to make public statements about X, Y, and they're not helping them, X, Y, Z, and Z, and how you carried on, means either you don't understand the process that would go with accountability of public bodies, or you didn't care what the process was. You felt that
You're right, or you don't care.
that you just can make noise and something would happen.
I think he wanted to turn the public against Farley.
And that you feel that because somebody asks for money, they have to get it.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
He
That's
bullied Farley.
the prevailing thought, because they asked for money,
they're supposed
whether the body could afford it, whether processes were followed, whether they deserved the money, whether the persons involved are trustworthy because of past issues.
Yeah.
There are several layers of accountability that they must pursue with public money, because the THA money is Trinidad and Tobago money.
Yeah. Clearly, this was about whatever I say you need to do, and I'm going to bully you, and I'm going to turn the public against you. Public sentiment, that's what his intention, to turn public sentiment against Farley by saying Farley have people suffering on the street and living in rat-infested places. That's what he tried to do.
As I said before, Wendell and Richard and Steve, this situation, to me, my opinion, not fact, probably unsubstantiated.
Wait. Record this, Steve.
Opinion, not fact.
Record this, Steve.
Opinion. You see, I clarify, you don't clarify.
That's all right.
Right? I want to make a
different
distinction.
styles.
This is my opinion. This is not a fact or something that I read that could be substantiated. I don't think that this situation rises to the level of embroglio that's come out. I think it was used as a trigger to an underriding situation that had not been resolved about hierarchy and leadership.
Yeah.
There's no doubt that Farley Augustine is the chief secretary. There's no doubt that Watson Duke is the political leader of the PDP.
Yeah.
But in an authoritative position, Farley Augustine is in a position of having much more authority and power because he's chief secretary.
Yeah.
As he said yesterday in the interview, that PDP revocation has nothing to do with the position in THA. You know?
Yes. He was clear about
nothing to do with it. Now, we said so earlier in the week.
Yes.
You could remove me from the whole PDP. I am still chief secretary.
Yep.
You understand?
Yep.
You could banish me from the PDP. I am still chief secretary. And you are still under me in that position.
Yep.
You could take your party and go.
Yep.
That has no
Actually-
impact on the position of chief secretary.
Yeah. Actually, I think if you listen to the interview too, Farley kind of basically said that these things were brewing, you know. And
Yeah.
he don't understand why Watson Duke would have done that, because he said Watson Duke is clearly fighting with a ghost. He said, because I'm not fighting for anything. You understand?
Because he's already chief secretary. He doesn't fight for nothing.
Yeah.
That I don't think this should have risen to the level of where it is now. But clearly, somebody wanted something to trigger something.
Yeah. But that's how
And
these things
they
happen.
get an excuse to trigger a process.
That is these things happen. And this is me here now. This is me being political now. You see anybody who come together, all for the, not for the purpose of doing what's best for somewhere, but just to get rid of the PNM, this is the fate they all suffer. All of them. A band of people just coming together to say, let me kick out the PNM, but they don't have a clue about governance. They don't have a clue about integrity. They don't have a clue about procurement. They don't have a clue about nothing. All it is, let me get rid of the PNM. The PNM, they're too long. Chicky Tracy and them want all that. Look at what is happening now. But I really think Farley, based on all I've seen and heard so far, has his head in the right space, and I hope he keeps it there. I honestly believe so.
And he seems to be operating on principle. That's what I get.
Yeah,
I get.
If there is dirt to come out on him, trust me, Watson bringing it there. They're coming out with it, but maybe there is none. Why it ain't come out yet? Because trust me, this going down to the wire. Especially after Farley said what he had to say yesterday. I don't think Watson expected that. He is stung by that.
I don't think anything stuns Watson, Duke. I think he's prepared for once you're in the arena, he's prepared for whatever,
Or you forget,
it's thrown at him.
Watson Duke is a spin master, and Watson Duke says swimming from Tobago to Trinidad, jump in a pirogue and jump out last minute and walk in. Or you forget Watson Duke.
No, he swam part of it. He swam part of it.
He what?
He what?
He swam a part of it.
Where?
What, 10 feet?
Alongside the pirogue.
What, treading water is swimming?
Oh, he was treading water, you were there?
But you couldn't see that?
You was under the sea.
Under the sea.
It would be interesting to find out what percentage of the distance he actually swam.
You'll never know that.
10 feet.
Precisely. You can't know what didn't happen.
Now, Watson is a boss when it comes to PRing himself.
He's a spin master.
We used to see it ourselves. He would come in that studio to be interviewed. And he is so focused on setting up his Facebook Live thing with his phone that he focused on that. He wasn't even focusing on what Richard, Steve, and I asked him. He was so focused on going Facebook Live. Yeah, and every now and then he would turn the camera and say, look, the PNM man there, and put it on me. You understand? And Richard, they used to do me that plenty. What's
But he was the PNM man, so.
Yeah?
He was the PNM man in the studio.
I'm still the PNM man.
Watson is a character. So, let's just put it this way. He certainly makes politics interesting.
Yeah, he does.
He does, doesn't he?
Many of them.
He shake up a little sleepy island called Tobago. Everybody cussing one another now. Say what? But again, PNM have themselves to blame for insisting with Tracy Davidson Celestin. I'm sorry. She was the wrong choice to lead the Tobago into that election. And they have paid a heavy price for that. And it's because people were, I guess, too stubborn to listen.
Who's the people that you're talking about?
I said people, and we'll leave it right there.
No,
Who people? Who's making choices? Who's making choices? You ain't talking about Dr. Rowley? Are you saying Dr. Rowley was too stubborn? That's what you're saying, Wendell?
We want some clarity.
You realize I'm sipping my coffee?
You can't just make statements and sip your tea.
I find you're not clarifying who people are you saying Dr. Rowley was too stubborn. Is that what you're saying?
I want a black t-shirt that I'm drinking hot coffee in a room that I don't have on air condition. So you could imagine what's going on with me.
So Dr. Rowley didn't listen to you? That's what you're saying?
I think Dr. Rowley at the time was determined to defend Tracy, but it wasn't so much about defending Tracy's integrity. It was about the fact of recognizing that people didn't like her. People were not supporting her. It had nothing to do with her integrity, because I think my integrity deserves defending too. But if people don't like me, and that happened in Maruga too. defending people when people don't like them will cost you political points. And that's what happened. And I admire that trait in Dr. Earlier because he defended me. He came to my defense when they wanted to kick me out. You understand? He came to my defense. So I admire that trait in him. But sometimes there are some people. He defended Louis Leasing when he put him as mayor and then said it was one of the worst decisions. He defended Gary Griffith.
So that's two decisions that were the worst decisions.
He defended Gary Griffith when they put him as commissioner of police and then said it's the worst decision he ever made. So he will go out of his way to defend people when the need arises. And then in hindsight, he will say, this thing really...
But he's clearly somebody, from what I've seen politically, who is into loyalty.
Yeah, he is. He is.
So you can see that.
He is.
The persons who, and you see a trend, the persons who kind of took licks when he was a backbencher under Mr. Manning.
Yeah.
Minister Hines, and others who
Robinson Regis.
Yeah, who stood by him and took some licks when they almost sided with him or they didn't join the chorus chastising him at that time.
Yeah.
That they stood by him, which was a very difficult time for him.
Yeah. But he has also
been loyal to them.
He has also reached out to people who didn't support him. Dr. Amy Brown was one. Marlene McDonald at the time was one. You understand? He's Paul Gopi.
That is the art of politics. You have to transcend and see what is good for the larger sphere.
Yeah. He has shown magnanimity in those instances. I don't think I'm not past that distance. I could say that word.
All right, gentlemen, let's grab a couple of calls. We have some calls coming through, so let's do that. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Steve.
Morning.
Good morning, Paul.
Good morning.
And Wendell.
Hello, good morning.
So I take on.
Richard is also here.
Richard, yes, I said Richard, and then I said Wendell.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear
that. Yes. Now, you remember Fadi said today that there's going to be a virtual meeting, and Watsonjuk is invited. But I don't think there's going to be a meeting, because Watsonjuk will not join that meeting, knowing what Fadi Augustine has in store for him in case the meeting goes another way. So he's not going to join that meeting at all, because in the interview yesterday, he said he was to be in a meeting and he never showed up, virtually that is. So who tell you what's going today too? He's not going to, so there's no meeting today. And my next real big beef, I cannot see 27 tickets to New York coming up to 300,000. And somebody needs to explain that, because I tried to work it out at 12,000 all kind of money. And it cannot add up to $300,000 for 27 tickets to New York. So
no, it does not.
Fadi Augustine has some explanation to do when it comes to that. It really hurts my heart to know that you spend $300,000 and you're telling us that it's plane tickets. Nah, something is wrong somewhere. Yeah. So that's all I have to say for now. Thank you.
I think Fadi recognized the con. This is my words, my opinion. I think Fadi recognized the con and decided, you see me, I ain't going down this road again. I might have gone down it before, but not this time. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Well, if you start to do away with process and protocol, particularly regarding the disbursement of public funds, you're going to end up in situations where you can't come back from, that you can't come back from. And then your integrity is going to be in question. It's just, as you said earlier, Wendell, right? So it's not just money you could give away to who you want just like that.
Yeah.
There are processes involved, accountability and transparency processes, and not everybody who asks could get money.
Yeah.
And if you ask and we approve it through a process, there's a process also for disbursement.
Yes. Yes. And
if you're asking for 700,000, itemize what that's for.
Yeah.
If you're asking for 400,000, itemize what that's for. Show me where you've reached out to people. You've contacted Carl, for instance, and Carl has given you pro forma for 200,000 for tickets. You understand?
Yes.
and they say this is what it will cost, and you have that documented. Document accommodation is staying by Ragoobarsingh's hotel and guest house, and they've given you documentation of this is what it will cost.
That'll be Ragoobarsingh's mega resort.
Ragoobarsingh's mega resort, I apologize. Right? And Ragoobarsingh has given you a pro forma saying this is what it will cost. So you have that document. You can't come and tell me Ragoobarsingh tell you it will cost $200,000.
Yeah.
I suppose to put that in a document and give you that money. It doesn't work like that.
No.
But somebody like you wanted to work like that.
Well, clearly they did.
You understand? And these processes, they are established processes. It's nothing new. But somebody accustomed doing it, so must be. I don't know.
And which is why Fali hinted when he first spoke that in the past, when they've given people money, and I have to assume, he can't be saying that from past CSs. He had to be saying that from his own experience. He said in the past, when they gave people money, some of them didn't go, or they didn't, or the whole party didn't go. Didn't he say that?
They said that they will say 40 go in and 20 go.
Right. So he could only,
and they get money for 40.
He could only say that based on his experience.
Not necessarily. You could do audits of the past transactions.
He was.
As somebody who's going into that position, you will have information about past situations that were not above board.
I hear you with that, Paul, but I'm saying the way he said it hinted to me that is why he put a stop to this one. Because in the past, I may have just blindly given money and so on.
Particularly if similar names involved in past transgressions are involved in the new projects.
Yep.
Good morning.
Yep.
I will leave it like that. Good morning.
Yeah, morning.
Yeah, Wendell.
So
I am of the view that if Fali removed Duke portfolio and put him in the doghouse, Duke is not going to roll over and play dead.
But you created a pump, you know.
If he moves a motion of no confidence and he loses and Duke has to resign from the PHA, a by-election would then be triggered later on. And that means the seat in Roxborough would be vacant. Duke would go up again. And there's a very strong possibility that he's going to win it, just like the situation that happened with Jack Warren.
And all he'll be is a backbencher.
Right? And he would be in Fali's side as a thorn to the rest of his life. This thing has to end somehow with the other, you know.
Well, he's done a thorn as it is already.
Yeah. They just can't keep him there. They have to make something definite and sever ties once and for all. Otherwise...
Can I ask you a question, sir? Does any of this surprise you?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought it was only me.
And you know why it doesn't surprise me? I know what you personally. I am from Tobago. I know him as my countryman. I know him in Wassa, where I work. I'm retired now, about 15 years. So I know him personally. And my problem with people is that when everybody keeps telling you, hey, you see, man, why are you supporting him? What your character is tarnished. Nobody is listening. You know, now this thing happens. Everybody now know that what you do wasn't the right fit. I say no more.
Yeah. But if you know what's in Duke's personality, he is not going down without a fight, eh?
And if he's sent down, he's going to try to take down quite a few people with him.
And that is why he is probably, and I'm saying this is my opinion, he's probably going to implicate Fali Augustine in some other issues. That's what he's going to do.
He is not going down alone. I ain't going down and leaving you up there.
Yeah, he not doing that. Fali had to come down too.
Well,
you already said come down from there, you know. You already tell him come down, come off his pedestal and thing. He already used words like that, you know. So he ain't going down alone. And Fali knows that, which is why Fali has been trying to avoid the public thing. But yesterday, when he threw down that gauntlet...
This is my version of popcorn.
But that's pistachios, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yesterday, when Fali threw down that gauntlet, I hope you know Watson Duke ain't taking that just so.
No. We're ready to fight to the bitter end.
Yes.
Make sure you don't cook on your son. Make sure you don't that shouldn't be public.
Yeah.
Because he's going to release.
Yeah. And as I said, I was listening to that interview live, and that interview wasn't going in that direction. And all of a sudden it switched because Fali was stung by some of the things that was being said about him. And he said it. He said they maligning my character. Well, those are my words. They say I have a woman in Castara. They say I have questions about my sexuality. He said I want them to come out in the public and say it because I will deal with them. And that's where it started to go because...
But isn't that typical of Trinidad, typical politics? The first thing they do...
True. So I'm saying that's...
If you're a man, insinuate or imply undercover innuendo that you have sexuality issues. If you're a man or you have an outside woman or you thief money, isn't that the way they usually go? Because that's oh my God, that's the worst thing they could say about you, understand?
So that is the part of the interview where it switched to a personal issue. You understand?
It will.
Yeah, that is where it switched to a personal issue. And when he said, because he was basically hinting that it's Watson Duke saying these things or started these rumors. You know, and he was
anyone who's in politics long enough to know that the person in question don't have to say it. They have agents that can work behind the scenes to tarnish your name.
Yeah.
We all know that.
So that's when he said,
well, they won't frontally say it, but it have all kind of social media avenues now to damage your character and your good name.
Yeah.
And the numbers are
222-TALK, and 866-525-1099 for those of you in North America.
I'm going to send crazy number for you.
I have it.
So 222-TALK,
all crazy.
222-8255.
I want to have a conversation with Tracy. Crazy.
With who?
Edwin Hayam.
You want to talk to Crazy?
Yes.
Privately or publicly?
Publicly.
Okay.
To ask him if next time he's talking to Sparrow and doing a video, you could make sure that they present him in a proper way. He could say it's not him. Somebody filmed the video and put it out.
Yeah, and why expose Calypso Rose on a hospital bed and all thing? I have a real problem with them thing, you know.
Me too. I have a problem with it.
Yeah.
Whose purpose is it serving?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
In somebody's private vulnerable moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, guys. Well, on this situation in Tobago, which I anticipated exactly how to play out, but Wendell and they seem to be enjoying it because it seems some possibility for CNN to get back some.
Wait. Don't just call my name, son, and don't defend it. What do you mean Wendell and they seem to be enjoying it?
That's what I'm saying. Well, you can't defend if I finish the statement.
No, but you say Wendell and they seem to be enjoying it. Aren't we all analyzing it the same way?
Yeah.
What do you mean I'm enjoying it?
Yeah, but on the outcome of the analysis, everyone will get a different want and arrive at a different result. And as far as I'm hearing, your tone, your context of all your arguments, you're glad because PNM is not getting a chance to regain some sort of footing amidst the imbroglio.
What foolishness you talking, sir? What foolishness you talking?
When parties
PNM lose 14-1, the election is not due for another three plus years. What foolishness you talking?
Yeah, so when they're going to start planning for the next election? Next 3 years?
So I'm not part of that planning process.
Well, exactly, you're not. But come on.
Yeah, but then you don't need to attack me. Go and deal with the people.
No, if you consider an attack, I apologize. Not an attack, it's a statement of my opinion as you like it.
No, all right, go ahead.
In any case, what I'm saying, the concept you're using that when parties come together, people come together, they get rid of the PNM. It's always before them.
That's a fact.
Yeah, unfortunately, the record suggests that your opinion is on spot at this point in time. But I'm expecting Tobagonians, of course, do not want that PNM at this time. So I was in Tobago just a month and a half ago. And although they were not happy with the speed and the progress of the PDP, of Fali and his team, they were adamant they're not going back PNM in a hurry. So the thing is, I am hoping that there's the opportunity where, as you suggest, people who come together, there's some integrity still in some who would stand up for what is right and not just follow the status quo. So I'm expecting Fali and those loyal to Tobago, not PDP, to Tobago first, will rebuff Watson when it's obvious and well-known strategy and keep the island going positive in a positive direction. We have a lot to clean up in Tobago. And of course, since PNM dominated control of Tobago, then PNM has to take most of the blame. I don't think any have had such a long run as PNM. So therefore, ergo, that's what that they have to take the shoulder the most of the blame for the systems and the behavior, the culture that's clearly in place in Tobago when money is spent because I got Tobago, not because it's good for Tobago. But I'm expecting Fali to show his proper cojones and the people with him to support and get this thing settled and get this thing working right. So while it's a horrible sight, but it's also a necessary sight that we all agree because we know Duke. Let's hope it will come out smelling like roses out of this one. Thank you.
Yeah, you see what you don't realize, and I will educate you a little bit here, right? Is that the PNM, because of its constitution and because of the institution that they are, they survive these things, which is why the PNM would have survived Manning Rowley and all the other different things that came up because of the strength of the institution, which is why I make bold to say that these parties will not last. They will get power because when people get fed up with the PNM, naturally, PNM people will turn against them. But they won't last. The PNM will last. I make bold to say that. They will last.
Hello?
And they will come back in Tobago.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, morning.
Hi, gentlemen.
Hey, big guy.
Y'all killing me softly this morning with all these assumptions about Mr. Duke and Mr. Fali. Both Mr. Richards, Richard and Mr. Wendell Stevens. I'm hearing assumptions about Duke asked for money without accountability. I don't know where you all got that from. And some other statements you all are making, but you all are killing me softly with all these fantasy assumptions that you're coming up with and opinions. No offense. However, with respect to the video of I assume I know the person who made the video and he listens to this radio station. And I hope he calls in to defend his reason for doing it. I think he did the one for Rose also. All right, gentlemen. You all have a great day.
Same to you. Thank you.
What do you mean? I hope he calls in to defend. I'm not sure what
I hope he calls in too.
Yeah, I don't know who it is. No
to
clue.
defend.
You're ready for Bacchanal, Paul? You're ready for Bacchanal? That was your Bacchanal tone.
No, but you want to defend putting icons, national and international icons, in the public space in that light?
I would love him to call. Or her to call. I would love them to call to explain why they think that putting the mighty Sparrow, Slinger Francisco, in a room with clothes and all over the place in the back, in that light, is productive.
Yeah.
I would love to know. I would love the person to call. Do you think that's the best way to present somebody who means so much to the Caribbean?
Yeah, no.
Call.
All right, we do have a call. Good morning.
Hi, gentlemen. Morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. No, I think that if you review the statement that was given by Fali Augustine, where he responded to Duke, there were a lot of contradictions, right, in what he was saying. The one in particular where he was making reference to the money allocated to the persons, right? And later on in the conversation, while admitting that errors were made, which I assume he was referring to errors made by his administration, but later on, when he stated that while admitting that errors and things need to be addressed, he also said that there are multiple other organizations of similar nature that that require funding, and he is looking at increasing those amount of funding. For a while now, I've seen no indication whereby there were policies that were followed by the THA, and him being the finance officer for the THA, rather than also occupying your post of the secretary of the THA, chief secretary. He's also the finance person, so he's the one responsible for that aspect too, right? So there's nothing I've seen for a while now, and I'm surprised that the media hasn't picked it up. But it's because of this becomes open. It becomes in the open now because of the rantings of Mr. Watson Duke, right? But in another video, Mr. Watson Duke has shown that this has been brewing for a while, and it seemed to be that he felt that he was undermined in terms of some administrative officer undermining his authority as the deputy chief secretary. Also, and Farley, he has been reaching out to Farley and hasn't been getting any response. So there seems to be a form of a power struggle, right? People are focusing now on this particular issue with the 400,000. Now the question asked Mr. Farley Augustine is in terms of accountability, it cannot be broad wash because we have to find out what other avenues concerning the upcoming carnival, if anything of that similar nature has been allocated to other persons too, right? So it's an opportunity now to bring things up in the open. I do believe that I can't see any resolve in this matter, but the question to be asked now is if it is that Mr. Duke has been removed, right? Whether it is that if Mr. Duke could suspend or remove Farley Augustine from as members of the party, then what will be the position in terms of the constitution if Mr. Farley no longer belongs to the PDP, if it is that he still hold reign or if there have to be some amendments. All right? Thanks.
All right. Thank you. Good morning, caller. Good morning. One more time. Good morning, caller.
Yeah, morning. Sorry about that.
You get stage fright or what,
something in the kitchen there. Yeah. Morning, this Farley and Duke fiasco, they did show wrong because this thing happened just so, This thing is not the thing, one situation that created this thing. This is the straw that break the camel back. So all them trip Bahrain and where they went Grenada, all them kind of things. It's all money issues going on there all the time. And according to Mr. Farley, say they don't want to spend the government money and continuous how it was going on. Understand? But I want to go back to the election when they was accusing the lady at the zip line. You can have Mr. Wendell?
Yeah.
Well, they say, well, money was being bad spent all about. Well, now money being bad spent all about, and Farley must be saying, me want to get caught up for that because when I went to the election, I was against that.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? But, Mr. Polished?
Yes, sir.
When I was listening to the interview yesterday with the president the principal,
Primary Schools Association.
Yeah. When I listened to that interview, I bought wow, wow. Yes, sir. From what I understand is children who cannot make it, who have wealth to assist them to reach to the level of what they want to reach, they're doomed.
Well, they're not doomed. They're in some serious challenges.
Right, I see serious challenges in there. There are no support system for them.
Well, apparently the state don't realize that there are inequities in society, and it's part of the state's responsibility to equalize those inequities.
So in the end of the day, I remember Mr. Morgan keeps saying if you don't have money to send your children for extra lessons, is that a problem? And he said that over and over again, and I know that because...
It's like, Steve was part of a meeting recently where someone said, and I won't call the person's name, quote unquote, black people don't send their children to university. And I took great offense to that statement. And
what is it?
Yeah, but I wouldn't call the person's name. It was a casual private conversation in a closed meeting. And and that statement to me belies a level of ignorance that was astounding to me.
But that person not living in Trinidad to go and see USC?
No, because the foundation of the comment was correct in some ways, because we were talking about a UE situation where the larger percentage of UE students were not black students, and that has been going on for years. Gate had equalized it.
Are you saying, by black, do you mean Afro-Trinidadians?
Afro-Trinidadians, yeah. And that wasn't because they didn't want to send their children to university. In many cases, or most cases, they couldn't afford to. And Gate changed the demographic of UE significantly. So when that person said that, I just shook my head and said, wow, the ignorance is profound in this country.
The people don't understand the history of university over the years. And then,
it's the history of Trinidad and Tobago.
And then Bazepane came and he make it dollar for dollar.
And then Gate was expanded by, I think, Mr. Manning, which equalized the playing field because people couldn't afford to send their children to university. No, they didn't want to.
True. That's true.
But the person's statement showed me that the ignorant, and this is an intelligent, educated person.
Yeah. I don't really believe
so the ignorance is still so profound.
I don't believe in Gate. I believe university education should be free.
But if you could afford it as a country,
make sure and afford it, because it's an investment in your future.
I agree.
It's more valuable than oil and gas.
All right, gentlemen, this is where we're going to run to 8 o'clock news. Thank you.
I don't disagree with you. No fight here.
Okay.
Ruben, behave yourself. Ruben, behave yourself. Let's go to 8 o'clock news brief. All courtesy, Champlain Auto Services.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
It seems Tobago does not hold the monopoly on political